Welcome to Climb English. If you're learning English through stories, you're in the right place. Today's story is about love, loss, and finding family where you least expect it. My name is Emma. I'm 26 years old now, but this story begins when I was just 6. Back then, I lived in a quiet village, surrounded by green hills and chirping birds. My parents, Daniel and Grace, didn't have much, but they had each other and me. Every morning, Mama would braid my hair while humming her favorite song. Papa made pancakes on Sundays and told funny stories that made me laugh so hard my cheeks hurt. At night, we'd sit under a blanket of stars and whisper our dreams. I was their little sunshine, and they were my whole world. Our house was small, the paint chipped in places, but it always smelled like cinnamon and felt like love. I didn't know much about the world beyond our village. I didn't care. Everything I needed was already there, in their arms, in their laughter, in the warmth of our little home. It happened on a cold Monday morning. I remember wearing my favorite yellow sweater, the one Mama had knitted last winter. I was waiting by the door with my backpack, expecting Papa to walk me to school like he always did. But instead, it was my neighbor, Mrs. Collins, who showed up. She didn't smile. Her eyes were red and swollen. She bent down, took my hand gently, and whispered, "Come with me, sweetheart." I asked where Mama and Papa were. She didn't answer. We walked in silence. When we reached the hospital, I saw people I knew. Some crying, some just staring blankly. Then I saw my uncle, standing beside 2 beds. My heart pounded. My steps froze. There, lying still and quiet, were my parents. No smiles, no laughter, just silence. They had been in a car accident on their way to the market. I stood there, too shocked to cry. I kept thinking someone would say it was a mistake, that they'd wake up. But no one did. In that moment, my whole world cracked, and I was only 6. After the funeral, I went to live with my Aunt Clara. She wasn't expecting to raise a child, but she took me in without hesitation. Her house was quiet, filled with books and the smell of old wood. At first, I barely spoke. I would sit by the window and stare at the road, hoping somehow my parents would return. Clara gave me space. She didn't force me to talk. Instead, she made warm soup every night and left the light on in the hallway so I wouldn't be afraid. One afternoon, she said, "There's a park nearby with a pond and ducks. Want to see it?" I nodded. That walk changed everything. The sun was shining, the ducks quacked loudly, and for the first time in weeks, I smiled. She noticed, but said nothing. She just squeezed my hand gently. Every day after school, we'd go to that park. We'd feed the ducks, collect leaves, and sit quietly on the bench. I started talking again. I started laughing. Clara wasn't my mother, but in those small, patient moments, she became something just as powerful. A safe place, a new beginning, a quiet kind of love. As the years passed, life with Clara began to feel like home. She wasn't one for big hugs or long speeches, but her love was steady, like a soft light that never went out. She taught me how to make scrambled eggs, how to sew a missing button, and how to find the quiet joy in reading. On weekends, we'd go to the town library. She'd sit in the corner with her gardening magazines while I wandered between the shelves, fingers trailing across the spines of books like they were treasures. I started doing better in school. I liked writing the most. Stories gave me a way to feel things I couldn't always say out loud. When I was 13, I entered a writing contest. I wrote about Clara, about the ways she gave me space and soup and quiet love when I had nothing else. The title was "Love Can Grow Anywhere." A month later, I found out I'd won second place. Clara didn't say much. She just folded the letter and put it in a frame on her bookshelf. That night, I caught her wiping her eyes when she thought I wasn't looking. I didn't say anything. I just hugged her. When I turned 18, I got a part-time job at the local bookstore. It was small and quiet, just like the stories I loved. That's where I met Leo. He came in every Friday evening, always with a notebook tucked under his arm. He wasn't loud or flashy. He just smiled, nodded, and headed straight for the poetry section. One day, he asked if I liked Emily Dickinson. I said I preferred Mary Oliver. He grinned and said, "Good answer." That's how it began, slowly, gently, like pages turning in a favorite book. We talked about everything: books, dreams, fears. I told him about Clara. He listened quietly, then said, "She sounds like a hero." When I introduced them, Clara didn't say much, but when Leo offered to help wash the dishes after dinner, she handed him a towel and nodded. That was her way of saying she approved. A year later, we got married in a small garden ceremony. No fancy decorations, just candles, soft music, and the woman who saved my life sitting in the front row with tears in her eyes. After the wedding, people asked if we'd move out. I shook my head. "This is our home," I said. "We're staying." Now I'm 26, Leo works as a high school teacher, and I run a small reading club for children at the library. We still live in the same house, though we added a little sunroom where Clara likes to sit with her tea. She's older now. Her hair is silver, her steps slower, but her mind is still sharp. Some mornings, I find her humming as she folds laundry. Other times, I help her button her cardigan or walk her to the garden bench. On Fridays, Leo brings her lemon tarts from the bakery down the street. We sit together, sipping tea, telling stories, sometimes not speaking at all. It's quiet, but it's full. People often ask if we plan to move or start a new chapter. But I think this is the chapter, the one where love circles back. Clara once said, "You came into my life when I didn't know I needed someone." I looked at her and said, "So did you." We don't have children yet, but we have each other. We have memory, kindness, and a home stitched together by small acts of love. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and comment. And remember, kindness can turn strangers into family.